and it no longer opens. And then if we replace these objects back up here and we come over here, we can see that we can only open it when all three objects are there. Have you ever wanted to make it so that when your door opens, it has like a requirement? Well, in this case, we're going to create a door that requires three objects to be placed right here before we allow this lever to be used. So what you need to do first is build where you're going to have this, make it pretty clear. So I've added a nice platform area, and then I'm going to put a trigger on each one of these. So we're going to go into each one of these triggers, set it to be objects tagged 1. There we go. So we have three triggers that are waiting for objects tagged 1, 2, and 3. We're then going to create three objects, then go to the Attributes tab, give it the tag 1, and then 2 and 3. Now we need to make these interactive, so we'll go add interactivity, gravity, and now you'll note that these only work in a certain order. So this one has to go here, that one has to go there, that one has to go there, because it's 1, 2, and 3. If you want these to all work on no matter what order, just label them all 1, so 1, 1, 1, and 1, 1, 1, or actually give it a real name, but that way it'll only work on objects with that same tag, and you can place them in any order. And now our script is going to be called control. And our control script is going to be running off of a generic shape when trigger is entered by object, and when trigger is exited by object, we are going to count upwards. And when the world is started, we want to add three connecting events. So we want to connect to event, and connect to event. And in fact, we actually need to do this 3 more times, because we're going to connect to the trigger exit event as well. So we have 3 trigger enters, and then we want to change these ones to trigger exit. And we're going to connect that to our local event, trigger enter and trigger exit. Now we could use listen to events and just listen to all the events that happen on the trigger, and that would make this a little bit cleaner. But if there's anything else you ever want to run on that trigger, this makes it so you're only receiving trigger enter and trigger exit, so that gives them a little bit more capability in the future if we need to. But we're not running this on self, we're not connecting to self, we're connected to 3 different objects, so we need to add 3 object variables. So we'll call this object 1. And if you're building a much more complicated control, I definitely recommend a better naming system than this. So we'll go 1, 2, and 3, 2, and 3. We also need a new variable, which will be a number. It'll be called number in motion. And so this is going to be our number to check and see when are all 3 there. And so what we need to do is when trigger is entered, we need to set the value. And so we're going to set number in motion. And if it's exited, we're going to actually subtract from that value. So go to your operators tab, grab the plus symbol, scroll down and grab the minus symbol, and then grab number in motion, and then add 1 and 1 to each of these. So we're subtracting and adding. So now that we've set it, we now need to run an if statement, and we'll run the if statement when enter is received. And we'll run that immediately after setting it. So as soon as it's placed, we can check this. So we go to our operators tab, scroll to the top, grab the equals sign, and we are checking to see if number in motion equals 3. If number in motion equals 3, then what are we going to do? Well, we're going to send an event. So scroll to the bottom, grab send an event, make sure it's indented in the if statement, and then we're going to send event custom called open now. Okay, so now we're sending event open now, and we're not sending that to self. We're going to send that to a new object, which will be our lever. So we'll just call this lever. There we go. And I believe we're running a lever control, so it's kind of a lever control object. So anyway, we're going to send that to our lever control object, and it's going to be called open now. And we're going to send it with a boolean, which you can grab from your values tab. So we're going to send it with boolean true, and then we're going to come down to our exit event. And we're going to do the exact opposite. So we're going to get an if statement, and when the object exits and it doesn't equal 3, so we're going to grab a number input and set that to be 3, and then grab our number in motion. So when number in motion doesn't equal 3, we want to send the event open now, so the same one. But in this case, we're going to be setting open now false. So grab that Boolean input again, put it under parameters, set it to false, and make sure we send that to the lever control object. And now we just need to tie all this into our control object and make sure it ties into that script. So let's go over to our door opening script. So we go to our lever, and what we need to do is add a new variable, which is going to be a Boolean, and we're going to set this to be open now. And we're going to start it at false. And then we're going to come down here to grab start, and we're going to nest all of this. As of 2 days ago now, we have nested if statements, so we can actually do this, which is really nice. We can nest these if statements inside of another if condition. And this if statement is going to say if open now equals true. Now we're only running this if it's time to open. So now if we scroll down to the bottom, we need to have that event come in. So you grab when event is received, and the event is called open now. And we'll remember that open now is received with a Boolean. So if we click there and grab that, we'll call it open in, because I just want to differentiate these a little bit. And then we're going to grab the set command, and we're going to set our open now variable from inside this object's control. And we're going to set that to be the open now from here. So when open now with open now is received, set open now to open now. So whatever it currently is on our one control object, we send that over to this control object to let it know, hey, it's time now, you can open, and connect this all together. So here on this control object, we're going to grab the control, and then we need to grab the doohickeys and connect them into their respective spots, 1, 2, and 3. We need to connect to the lever, so we'll grab the doohickey on this side and drag that over into here. There we go. So we've connected to our lever. And now that we've got our control set up, I'm going to make it non-visible and non-collidable. This should all work. Let's give it a test. So if I come down here and I try to grab this, I can grab it, but it doesn't go anywhere. And I can try again, and it's not going to work. If I come over here, grab this object, place that there, and place that there. Oh, and now that we've got it to open, we can remove the objects and it no longer opens. And then if we replace these objects back up here, and we come over here, we can see that we can only open it when all 3 objects are there. So it does exactly what we want it to do. Now, I am curious, I built a connecting trigger here, so this should work, and I'm wondering if it works on the objects too. I didn't double check my script to see how I tied it in. So if I remove one of these, throw it on the ground, then we press the button, we'll see that not even the remote control works. So it's all tied together very nicely. Anyway, this is great. So if you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to ask. But yeah, thanks for asking, and hope this helps. See you in the next one. Bye!